Hey, nerds from the underground. It's Chaz, frequent co host with Poet Air and Johnny Alpha A1. I'm very excited to be coming to YouTube today to talk about some of my favorite picks of the week. YouTube is a brand new format for us, so these first videos might be a little bit interesting, but we'll definitely get the hang of it, I promise. This is a way for us to talk about some of the more exciting weekly releases that we might not get to cover for a few months because normally on the podcast we try to focus on full volume collections that you can get your hands on right away. So this will be an interesting way for you to get to know our tastes a little bit more while also getting to know us a little bit more in addition to that. So I'm very excited to talk about four super awesome books this week. My top number one pick, though, was from Image Comics. It's Stillwater number one by Chip Zdarsky and Ramon K. Perez. This book was awesome. I was excited to see these two creators on a book together because I definitely love them separately, and it did not disappoint. It's a very interesting, sort of slow burn start, but once it got the hook in me, it really got the hook in me. So it starts off with somebody who is sort of down and out until he realizes that he's getting this inheritance from a great aunt, but he's got to go to this small town to collect it. And when he gets to the small town, things get much more interesting than they ever did in the big city. And even though the sort of big reveal is in the solicitation, I feel it comes across a lot better organically. So I'm not going to say what it is, but let me tell you, I needed that second issue immediately, and that's how I know that's my book of the week. When I can't stop thinking about it and I need the next issue, that's the one. So Stillwater number one, if you're looking for an interesting new sort of rural, folksy horror, perhaps, this one's for you. Beautiful art, incredible story. Don't miss it. My second book, and it's appropriate because it's actually issue number two from this week, was Seven Secrets, number two from Boom Studios, Tom Taylor and Danielle Niculo. De Niculo, sorry. Uh, it's amazing. This book draws me in deeper and deeper with every issue. In this one, we got a lot more of the backstory, sort of, as we watch Casper, the child introduced in issue one, grow up within this order. We get to meet a lot more of the keepers and the holders of the secrets and what they impart on them as he learns their different skill sets and abilities. And it made me really want to know what sort of missions those guys are going on. So it's always good when a book continues to keep drawing you in without making you feel overwhelmed. And the world building in this is just spectacular. It never feels overwhelming or too weighty. Sometimes they get a little imbalanced. Books tend to focus so heavily on building this big intricate world that it misses out on the small emotional character development, but this one balances those two elements so flawlessly that I fly through every issue and I've learned everything that I needed to, and then I need to know more. But I'm never left wanting. I never feel like I'm missing the character development over the world building or the world building over the character development. So if you like cool action conspiracy sort of comics with a very emotional center, Seven Secrets is definitely the one to check out right now. There are new printings coming out of number one that are available, I think, coming up soon. They should be almost rolling into a fourth print, I imagine. And number two is on shelves today. My third pick this week is Once and Future number 11. Now, this one is also from Boom. They've been pretty much on fire the last year and a half, 2 years, and even before then. They've had a lot of quiet hits, I would say, but they've really broken out with Once and Future, Something is Killing the Children, now Seven Secrets, and we only find them when they're dead. Once and Future's always been pretty high on my list. I read everything in reverse order, essentially. I save what I think is going to be the best book of the week for last, and Once and Future is almost always near or at the bottom of the pile. And this issue is no exception. We get a lot more of that Beowulf and Grendel story. We get beautiful, beautiful colors by Tamara Bonvillain, which just I can't speak highly of those colors enough. These super rich, bright hues of pink and purpley reds that contrast with these just gorgeous deep blues, and these greens. You got to see it to believe it. I'm not doing it justice describing it, and I love it. So if you're looking for a bit more of a reveal about how the world works and how these stories get their power, we're sort of building up to that in this issue. We had covered the first volume of this, Poet Air 33 and I, on the podcast a little bit earlier, so you can definitely go back and find that episode if you're curious a bit more about Once and Future and why I love it so much. But this one definitely feels like we're building towards who these protectors are, the grandma and Duncan, and how we can keep our stories alive within ourselves, but not give them the power over ourselves. So it's a really interesting examination of stories and the power that they hold. And this one gets really, really brutal. So it's got all the high action and cool intellectualness that really made it for a great comic. And I'm glad to keep it in my top picks from this week. And then my final number, or my fourth pick of the week is another indie one. It's from a smaller press company called Behemoth Comics, and it's Cardinal Dagon #2. Now, this first one I had picked up on a whim because the description of it sounded kind of interesting. It's about a cardinal who's a scoundrel and almost like a gigolo in a way. He loves karaoke and loose women, which doesn't sound like any cardinal at all until you realize that he's the cardinal of the anti-church, and he's actually part of a group that's bringing about Armageddon. They're a reverse Catholic Church. They have black popes, or anti-popes, I should say. They're trying to get the Antichrist out, and he is recruited after the death of the most recent anti-pope to bring about the apocalypse, but he sort of wants to do it in his own way. And issue 2 sees him opening up some different seals. We see Pestilence sort of coming into the mix, see him attempting to kickstart some wars, all with a real loose hilarity, and almost a lot of poking fun at religion, but not in a way it's not angry ever. It's a good balance of reverence to comedy, while also sort of pointing out a little bit of the hypocrisy in both churches, in the church and the anti-church. So it's a very interesting read. It might be a little bit harder to get your hands on because I don't know how crazy everybody's ordering these Behemoth books, but after reading this series so far, I'm definitely going to keep my eyes on them. I know they had come out with another series that at Comics Finance, Nalo had tweeted at us about, called The Osiris Path, which I'm desperately and eagerly awaiting the graphic novel for, so that I might be able to read that one as well. So Behemoth Comics seems to be putting out some pretty cool stuff if you're looking for something a little bit off the beaten path and independent, for sure. And Cardinal Dagon, very, very cool. It's by Massimo Rossi and Giuseppe Costabile. So those are my 4 picks from the week. I hope that you liked them. I know this video format, like I said, is new to us, so we'll definitely get more used to it. I might have sped through those picks a little bit, but don't worry, I'm going to work on my pace and my speed. But for now, you can definitely follow me on Twitter at Chaz Simons, and you can check out all of the cool Nerds From the Underground stuff at Nerds From on Twitter. And from there, you'll actually be able to find all of our different handles and links. So as you start to get to know us and you want to give us a follow, definitely go for it. You can check out the Nerds From the Underground podcast on Spotify, on iTunes, and now on Amazon Music as well. So definitely go on there, give us a follow, give us a review if you can. We need the feedback. We definitely want to hear it because it's only going to make us better. It's something to sharpen our sword against. So thank you for watching and listening, and we'll talk again soon. Bye, everybody.